Is it possible to make a website in just an afternoon? So right now, today, we're going to build a website. So recently I've been asked to recreate this website, which is Rainmakers.worldwide. It's a consulting company that brings in business and hard to reach people and brings them together to add more perspective to big companies. And I'm going to recreate this whole site in Wix, and I'm going to make it look stunning. And we're going to do it together. Now, there's about 10 things we're going to cover. We're going to look at how to do the logo, how to add the art, how to add a call to action, how to add pop-ups, SEO, a mobile site, a contact section, an about section, a services section, and trust element sections. Sound good? Okay, so let's dive right in then and get this going. So first we're going to create a new site. We're going to click on business and we're going to go on the Wix editor here. Now we're going to create, we're just going to choose sort of a consulting template, which is, I quite like this one. And one, we're going to have to download a few of well, we'll have to get the specific logos a bit later on, but right now we can sort of we have all the copy and stuff here. So let's first build out the outline of what our website we want it to look like, the wireframe, and then we're going to personalize it and make it a bit smarter. So the first thing that I feel most people care about is actually the images in their websites. Now, what we will have here is this sky position, but I actually want to change this whole thing. So if you go to change strip background images, we're going to go free from Wix and we're going to go consulting. What does that give us here? So sometimes you have to just sort of play around and really look for things. So here we're going to have this sort of walking. We're going to make this a bit smaller by stretching it. And we're going to get, so the name of the company's Rainmakers Worldwide. So here we're going to sort of get there where we want to sort of bring them together. So Rainmakers. We can make the font a little smaller so it fits. Great. Here's a little tip. When you change the strip background, you can go into settings. You can give it a white opacity and sort of let it come out a bit more. We know the theme is, that looks great. So now the next thing I want to do is change this around. So you can sort of move it as you want. Here I want to make this contact us. And here we can add sort of a tagline based on the mission. And I know from the company that they're changing for company. So something a little bit like that. And here I want to make the design a green. So we can go to customize design, fill color, and just change that to a sort of a green that fits. So let's do that. That looks good. And we want to get rid of that border, don't we? There we go. And we can also make the text a bit bigger. So customize design, text. Just so it's a bit easier to read, because you don't want something that's not readable to you. So basically, and I just want to change the layout, so I'm just going to drag this below. And this is also hard to read, so we're going to make this into a different font. We're going to go with Georgia. So already we have something there, and I actually want to give this tint, instead of a white, let's give it the same sort of, let's give it that tint as well, so that it sort of has a green tint that is very subtle, but actually blends in quite nicely. So here, let's get some pictures from the website. So if we go to About Us, we have a picture here. However, it's a web file, so I'm going to have to take a screenshot of the picture, which is not exactly best practice, but it's something you can do to make sure that you have something that works for the client. You want to deliver always. So here we just took a screenshot of the picture, because getting your assets is sort of the first and foremost, most important thing to do. And rainmakers. All right, so now I've got rainmakers going on here. I'm gonna change the picture, change column background, and I'm going to change this to About Us, and we're going to change the image. And here, instead of using free from Wix, we're going to upload our own image, and rainmakers. And as you can see, we can't actually see the face, so we need to position it down. So there we have something. Perfect. Okay, great. And now we can change this to copy from the website. We can sort of copy and paste. Again, because we're using Georgia, let's go back and use Georgia. You want to be consistent throughout everything. And we can update those buttons later. For now, we can make this smaller. And there we go. We have something that looks a bit better. So we have rainmakers, which is still slightly hard to read, if I do say so myself. And sometimes, you know, where I spend a lot of time is simply in the design. I'll spend a lot of time. And like, so instead of green, maybe I want a white. And then I want the text color to be black. And then I also want the borders, not the borders, but rather the corners to be rounded. And you can see that already it's sort of a very different feel just from that. I think it looks quite good though. You have About Us here. And there's a few other things we want to put in. So we're going to want to have, we have the call to action, we have the art. We're going to want the logo. So we can just type in rainmakers. Type in rainmakers there, and here the business is sort of For now, we'll put in London Consulting, which is sort of the brand description. Here we can sort of we can do our services. And we'll do the 3 services that the company offers. And I'm going to show you some cool tips and tricks here. And we're just going to bring, this is our anchor tag, which we'll bring up here. And then you can sort of drag this height, which is a little finicky. I've had a lot of people tell me it's really annoying. But it only goes as high as the anchor tag. That's the secret once you're editing your website. Here we're going to add another strip. And you can see there's different layouts here. But basically we're just going to add a classic white strip. And we're going to go click that button and we're going to send to back. Okay, great. Now we're going to go click add. We're going to click vector art. And here what we want to do actually is find 3 icons that sort of describe our services. And the reason for this is that it's icons are just a really great way to communicate actually. So we'll get 3 different ones here, again in the vector art, which is a Wix exclusive really. And then we're going to sort of type in 3 I actually don't quite like that one. Anyways, a lot of web design is really sort of an artistic creation where you want to find a good balance of art and design while still communicating the main assets of the website. And that's what's really important, I find. Okay, so, I mean, we're building this straight from scratch, by the way. And after this, we'll sort of end up with a contact here, and that'll be good. So now what I want to do is add 3 texts, and I'm going to add 3 paragraphs. And basically, we're going to go back to the website, say corporate engagements. And we'll copy that, and now we sort of have our first paragraph. Obviously it's quite a little long. I'm going to make this slightly smaller. And really at this point we're really getting the design of the website, the feel of it, up to scratch. So those will be our 3 services. We're then going to, make the strip a bit smaller. So one way to do that is just hold it up, go all the way to the bottom. And then again, this is sort of the one annoying thing, is that it's often annoying to get rid of all this blank space. But that's just one of the things about Wix. Cool. So now we have that, and we're just going to add a little call to action. So that is just a button. And let's just add a border to that. And you can imagine it saying book us now, but instead we sort of want the green. So you go to borders and we can use that same green. And if we want to make this as well, so now we can keep that consistent green and that consistent brand all the way through, which is really makes a website pop out. Okay, great. So we have the green, we have the about us, we have the services, and we have the final contact us. Okay, good. Let's publish that site. And that's the first one. We're going to do a few more things. So one, I'm going to add a pop-up that asks people to subscribe. So here we're going to do a light box, and we're going to do so really simple. We're going to say never miss an update, get your name on the list. And we're also going to ask for the name and email. We're going to make this slightly smaller. Oh, whoops. I guess we'll just leave it as the default for now. And we can add sort of a vector art to make it really pop. And again, we can change it so it stays on brand colors. So there, it's sort of now it fits a bit better than it did before. And we're going to, okay, that looks good. So here we're going to change the overlay so it sort of pops up behind. That looks beautiful. Okay, I like that. So we change the overlay, we set it up. We're going to set up a trigger so it pops up after 10 seconds. Great. And there we go. We have the pop-up that comes up. We have, we're going to publish that. The next thing I want to do is I want to change the mobile. So go to the top there and go to mobile view. So here we can see what it looks like on mobile. So it comes up right at the top, and this is really the size of your phone won't be this big, but it'll be similar. So now we go back to our home page. And as you can see, it doesn't look great, but we can make it look great in just a few seconds. So one, we have our button there. We're going to move this up. We're going to move this down, and we're going to change the font size here so it fits into one. And then we're going to sort of so that sort of explains what we do. So now we have that working. We have the about us, which is very clear. Our 3 services looks a little weird, if I do say so myself. So we're going to make this slightly different. So what we're going to do is we're going to put this on the edge to make it easy for people to distinguish. Obviously, we're going to have different text here, but this is sort of one version where we're able to get our message across. And we're almost done, guys. Yeah, look. And this is the call to action, which we can make a lot bigger on the mobile version. And then we can just make this smaller. Perfect. Now we have the contact section, and that looks great. So as you can see, we've just finished the mobile section, so we can publish that. Now the next thing I want to do is I want to basically at this point get found on SEO. So what we can do is add alt text and stuff, but I just want to, before we get into that, change the meta description actually of the page. So if we go to the site manager, we have rainmakers, and so here, this, if you go through this process, you can type in so what it'll actually do is the SEO plan will say it'll recommend blog posts for you, I believe. So it'll tell you things that you might want to do. So yeah, oh, okay, yeah. So you will, if we go here, if we click on here, click on the three dots, page SEO. This is really important. Rainmakers. This is where you're going to show up. So here you have the small description. So now we have what we show up on Google. And then you could say Rainmakers London. And there we go. Now we can put that in and save that. And now we've just got sort of the main SEO. But what's great about it is that you can get a lot more tips from that page. So we have the art, the call to action, the pop-up, the services. The last strip I want to add is because this client has, so one thing to know is when you're moving something down, you're going to move everything down. So if you want to move something down, you need to highlight, the whole strip, and then move it down together. So here I'm going to add a gallery, and specifically so that's a showcase strip. So if we can, so it'll still pop up there. Okay, great. So that's what it looks like on mobile. And what this will do is we're going to get the logo of a few different things, and then we're going to bring those into Wix. So let's download that logo. Rio Tinto. And Cambridge logo. These are three clients, three clients the person has worked with. And then all we need to do at this point is change images. And we're going to add images. We're going to upload our own images. And if you hold down Shift, you can upload multiple images. Done. And now we're going to select all of them. Great. Add that to gallery. And oh, it looks like Cambridge University doesn't quite fit. The last thing is you could change the page background to white, just so it matches everything. So unfortunately, Cambridge University, that's not a good. So we're just going to take the crest for now. We're going to get, here we go. Ooh, still not quite that great, is it? If not, we can Deloitte logo. For this, you can manually redo it in Photoshop. But for now, because basically the first most important thing is, can you get a rough draft and then come back to it later? I've always found that having a rough draft helps a lot to providing, at least the consistent momentum of a great website. So we have Deloitte everything, and we can make this smaller. And we can eventually add more images. And we're going to add one piece of text here. It just says client. Looks great. Okay. Perfect, perfect. And the last thing we can do is we can change we can sort of make this a lightish gray, lightish green. And this is so it sort of sticks out a bit more and helps bring that greater green consistency that we know and love. Okay, great. So we have our trust elements, we have our services, our about. Again, we can, whenever you add something new, you want to make sure that it looks good on the mobile site. So you have the pictures there, you have the client, you have button, the contact form. The last thing we're going to do before we wrap this up, guys, and it's been a really, I think, really powerful tutorial today, is finally we're going to link all these buttons to the anchor tag. So let me tell you what I mean by that. We're going to link to so these things right here, contact, that's what we're going to link it to. So if you go and link anchor contact, done. We're going to change this to contact us. Again, we're going to link that to anchor contact, done. Perfect. Here we go. Again, contact us, anchor, contact, done. And now all that's going to link directly to there. Now, the last we're just going to hide a few of these. So we have the services. We're going to hide that. We have the blog, which we'll get into, and we have the about section. So now we're going to move about here so that when you click on about, it will take you there. Let's see, how does that look now? Pretty good, pretty good. Moving forward, let's finish off with the blog, shall we? So that picture actually sort of works for us, and we have different blog posts here. If you go to blog, you can do a create post, and we can do our first post, and we'll just make the default a picture, some text, and a headline. And that'll really be, so we'll do like something really simple. And then we can add an image, free from Wix. One of these snazzy pictures. And you can add your name. Anyways, that's it. Also, if you go back in your dashboard here, you also have a few other things like contact CRM. So that's your blog now. We just published a post. Obviously, you'll probably want to get rid of the other post. But if you want to see it, we already clicked on publish there. We're going to click on view site. And at this point, all we're going to do is, this is what the site looks like. So there's a little bit of a bug with this not working right. So what we're going to do is we're going to make that a static. And I think that's because there's a parallax. So change strip background settings, none. And that way it stays. So now when we reload it, we shouldn't have that problem. Perfect. Oh, whoops, it's still reloading the old version. There we go, the non-parallax version, perfect. So that's our site, and as you can see, the About section takes you to each part. And we even get the pop-up that comes up that wants your name and email address. So said why. So now it automatically subscribes you. And if you want to check out where that goes, if you go into Site, My Dashboard, and wait for that to load, you can go into Contact CRM, and you can see that said just subscribed, and in your contact list you have one more person. So that's sort of a cool tutorial about how to make your website, your consulting website, from scratch, from the beginning. We made the whole thing, mobile version included. The last thing is, if you want to have a great domain and you want to remove the ads that we saw on here, then I highly recommend that you click upgrade and get one of the plans. It's easy, it's fast. Wix does backups for you. I highly recommend it if you're serious about getting a website. But watch our other videos on e-commerce and on 24 mistakes you want to avoid when making your website. And yeah, subscribe and comment on this video. Tell me if you liked it or not. Tell me what you thought was a good tip. So that's about it. See you in the next one.